I'll call the meeting to order.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, everybody get a chance to look over the agenda. Anybody want to make any changes or make a motion to approve it?
We have an addition, or is it on here now?
It's on here now.
Oh, okay. The title, yep, okay,
I think we have everything now, but
all right.
Make sure I got the same one. I print, oh, okay, so there's a change right there. Okay. That one out. This one.
All with the changes that were recently made, I make the motion, we approve the agenda.
Second,
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Move the previous minutes from board meeting June 7th, 2022.
read it over and found nothing wrong. I'll move.
Second. Motion and a second to approve the previous board minutes. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Public comment. Don't look like we got much action there. All right, we'll move on. We'll go to appointments. We got 9:01, and we got one at 9:15. Do you want to do it now or do you want to wait till 9:15?
We can do it now.
That's
Can do it now, Sam?
All right.
It's a closed session, so nobody from the public is going to be offended if we do it now.
I thought we could get through everything in 15 minutes, which
Yep.
is why I put it.
Oh, that's cool to do it that way.
Let's do it that way. Yep.
All right,
Sent it.
consent agenda, we went through that. We got that okayed.
No,
No, no, no, no.
Nope,
We gotta approve the
we did
consent
other
agenda.
one. Yeah, we gotta do the consent agenda. Anybody want to do any changes or
Move to approve the consent agenda.
second?
I'll second it.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Any more discussion?
Just give, wish Lucas good luck in his new endeavor, but sad to see him go because he was a good IT guy, so.
Helps a lot down there for this old boy.
Yeah.
Sure. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Start on action items. Consider approving the county Title VI policy.
We gotta wait for Tess on that one too.
Yeah, I guess.
Oh.
So we'll go to number 2, huh?
Number 2, we said number 1 happens first.
Yeah, that was the confusion of not having number 2. Sorry about that.
We can't do it if we wanted to, can we?
Brian.
Jump up to the discussion items, those first couple of you have time to talk.
That might take a while. Well, let's see here. Well, maybe not unless we're all in agreement, I guess.
We can do the bridge, can't we?
No, the one has to happen before 2.
Oh, that's what
I'll
I,
come
okay.
up and we'll talk about the market.
We'll talk about that.
But you're familiar, you can kind of give us an overview. What you just said at the land use, number 1.
Well, yes, so the Title VI policy, so federal highway is requiring that that prior to having any federal funding distributed to counties, you need to have a Title VI policy put in place. So Tess and I worked together with Sam and Sheila and others to create a Title VI policy that's going to work for the county and ultimately, because this affects not just the highway department, it affects all the county, got broken up into essentially an overarching policy for the county, and then a part for the highway department, and then you can add additional departments, for their own separate subparts within that in the future. So, so that's the reason why that Title VI stuff originally had to be enacted, was from a federal highway standpoint. Now, MnDOT's agreements have also added language in there, which is why this needs to be done separate. Or second is that MnDOT's agreement for that local bridge replacement program. The very last clause within that agreement requires that we have a Title VI policy in place. So that's why that needs to be added to now, no longer just for federal highway funded projects, just for any project that has state money as well. So that's kind of the order of that, for why that's in place. So this Title VI policy, when Tess gets here and explains, it's kind of what it is that it's required because of the highway department, but ultimately it does affect every department within the county at some point in the future.
When I look at the MnDOT package here on item 2, Houston County Highway Department Title VI Coordinator. We have to hire somebody, or is that something that you take on?
Nope. So yes, what the plan is that the HR, the plan is that HR would be the Title VI compliance officer, and then the department head for, so in this case, department head for the highway department. Myself will be the Title VI coordinator for that portion. So, and then when the other departments have a policy for themselves, going to be the department head and be the compliance officer.
Not dissimilar to EEO issues for Title VII. Similar practice that we have right now. So it's an overarching non-discrimination policy for the county.
When you read through this, they talk about interpreters. Do you have to hire somebody that's an interpreter then?
It, well, each department has to have their own policy and practice. This is an overarching policy for the county.
Right.
In response to your question, for Health and Human Services, their LEP, Limited English Proficiency policy, from the state requires that they do when it's access to emergency services. They already have that practice. They already are doing that. For other departments that are non-emergency services, i.e. food and shelter, there is a test that you will find in one of the appendices that says you have to examine how much of your population is limited English proficiency. Our numbers do not meet the threshold criteria for requiring, at this time, for requiring a interpreter services or interpreting services, I should say.
What's the threshold? Do you remember?
It's in 5%. We're very much under. The numbers appear in Appendix B on page 9. It's a 4-part test. And in that 4-part analysis, and our numbers are based on 2020 data, are it says based on 2020 data, 483 of the 17,593 persons in Houston County over the age of 5 speak a language other than English. Of those 483 persons, 156 speak English less than very well, and that is less than 5% of the population. So, and it also depends upon what program you're trying to access. So it's not that it requires, my understanding that it's not that it would require interpreter services for every program you have, but a program that could impact them. From a DOT perspective, and please correct me, something different. But from a DOT perspective, let's say you were we're in a more populated county and we were looking at putting a highway through a housing area that had a majority of 5% or more in the county non-English speakers, then yes, we have to figure it out so we could have public input. That's not the case that we understand with any of the projects we have. What precipitated us getting together and putting this policy together, which is an overarching policy for the county, is Brian has some new mandates of having certain language and policy statements and analyses in each of his RFPs and contracts.
Yeah, all of our grant agreements, funding for federal and state.
So when looking at that, Brian asked me to take a look at that. I did. When looking at that, it says if one of your programs require it, all of your programs would require a Title VI policy. And so the concern is with all the new ARPA money coming through, that's direct federal money, we do not want to put any of our programming at risk for departments that may not and do not have policies in place. So that's why we came up with this overarching policy, which includes the other.
So this covers the entire county.
Should
And
we
those,
need it?
those programs that don't need it doesn't matter. It's just the ones that have the federal funding
And we,
or the need because of the language thing.
and for any kind of audit of those federal program dollars, we wanted to make sure that the county was in good shape county-wide. So hence, here we are with Title VI. And like I said, it's not a whole lot different than your Title VII, except for the interpreter services. It all stems from the Civil Rights Act, both of those, 1964 Civil Rights Act.
No, you can have this interpreter services as needed, correct? I mean, we don't need to be hiring and all that stuff. I'm
That is
visualized.
accurate.
Yeah, so that's something that we can answer that. As long as we have a policy in place available to answer or take care of the question at the time.
What, if our numbers remain under 5% of the total population.
Okay.
of
Which is
those,
900 and something.
Then, no, it's not applicable, with the exception of your human service programs for emergency from the shelter.
Sure.
And they already have, there are mechanisms in place.
So establishing this policy is to take care of the requirement of the federal funding process.
This has been a requirement since the 1960s.
They're just reaffirming it. There's a push to reaffirm. Make sure this is all getting put in. So this isn't really going to be a big change for us, correct? I mean, you don't see a problem with any of this?
I don't see one. I think it should be pretty.
The only change
Is there
for
a-
us is on the administrative level to ensure that we have, as the compliance officer and the respective coordinator for Title VI, that we have appropriate training for our departments that have these federally funded programs, such as highway department. And to make sure that we review our policy annually and to make sure that we submit our reports timely, which are that's the only change in our working circumstances that I see. And of course, we will review those numbers annually, but based on census data, I don't see them changing.
So as Commissioner Johnson said, it's reaffirming something that's kind of been in place, but we have to document it at this time. I guess it's something that we need to do. I move to approve the county Title VI policy as prescribed.
Okay, there's been a motion.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Any more
And that
discussion?
includes resolution number 2233.
Correct.
Okay.
So, okay, there's been a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries for county Title VI policy.
Thank you, Commissioners.
All right, now we'll go to consider approving a local bridge replacement program with the LBRP grant agreement for an SAP 028-612-014 bridge replacement project and resolution number 2234. Brian.
Yeah, so this is basically the standard grant agreement we've used for bridge replacement projects in the past. This is for the bridge replacement on County 12, which is anticipated to take place either this fall or next spring. We already have the contractor hired for this job. The bonding amount of the state money on this would be $83,631.45. The total bid was $231,749.77. So what it amounts to is a little over 30% of the project would be funded by state money instead of our local state aid money.
It's not much of a conversation. I mean.
Oh, you approve it or repay with our own state aid. So
I make a motion, we approve.
Second.
All right, there's been a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. I suppose we better go into closed session since it's 9:16.
If we have to have a motion. to go.
I make a motion, we go into closed session.
Second.
Well, third.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. to Go into closed session. Do we have to vote too or not?
Yep.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Okay. We're back out of closed session regarding the NAPE arbitration results. Just to note here that we're discussing the award of the arbitrator. That award is not public information per Minnesota state law, Minnesota statute, section 13.43, subdivision 2, parens B, and 179A.04, subdivision 3. The board's directive at this point is to not pursue an appeal.
Thank you, Sam.
Hey, we're at,
Yeah, because we had to discuss this fair stuff, so I was assuming he was gonna be back.
He said that he was gonna stay in the building.
Oh,
and just
so he's just
text
gotta find
his,
Yeah, I just texted him, so
Did you text his, which number?
cell phone.
cell number. He's here.
Oh, here it is.
We're on deck.
Oh, he's in the batter's box.
You're up.
That's right.
We're talking about you. I'm like, he's in the building somewhere. No, he is.
That's Fraser.
Discuss Houston County Fair using county property for parking. Brian.
Yes, so I wanted to have a discussion with the board. So in the past, during fair time, they set up the fair booth right by the east entrance to the county shop. We had cones across the front of our driveway as we had a place for the employees to park, so that they would get in and out. This year, now with the new shop, we acquired the additional 3 acres down the lower part of the yard. We'll have a fence up, that parking lot is expected to be paved by in the next couple weeks. And then we'll have the fence put up. So by fair time, there's gonna be a fence dividing off the back from the front. And we'll have an access going out on South Street if we need to use that during fair time. Usually we have some staff that take off during the second half of fair week, you know how busy it is in that area. So they try to avoid that area. So I believe we'll have enough room to park all the employee vehicles inside the fence, and all the county stuff. We can go in and out the back door for the vehicle storage area. We can scoot out South Street. So I believe that we would have room to allow the fair to use the majority of the parking area in the front of the building, maybe put up some signs for, highway parking only for a few stalls. But wanted to get the commissioners view on that, and if we want to allow them to use that parking lot or not. And if we do, could they move that booth up to existing property line between ourselves and the Meyer building and charge for that parking, beyond that point. So that's not really my decision to make, and that's why I wanted to bring that up to you today.
They probably want to use it for handicap parking more likely.
Yeah, they would use the handicap over on the pavement, maybe across from the, what's it called, History Lane. Down that end would be handicapped, and they maybe store a couple pieces of equipment used for fair time on that property as well.
Well, that's fine with me to let them use that. Have you been in contact with the fair board or?
I haven't talked to the fair board. I did talk to Mike Meyer the other day. I know he's heavily involved with the fair, and I talked to him briefly. I told him I was gonna come here and see if that could be allowed. We were just kind of talking about how we joined that property line use in the past, and contract to put the topsoil up, so we'll have some areas that's gonna be seeded mulch between our two properties now. And I was talking about that, and we kind of transitioned into the fair discussion a little bit.
So the fence you're talking about, is that parallel to the front of the building?
So on the east side of the building, it is parallel to the front. On the west side of the building, there's a jog out where we have the smaller of the overhead doors on the west side is our parts room area.
Mhm.
That is outside the fence, and where the three mechanic bays and stuff is all inside the fenced in area. So it's kind of in the middle of the west side is where that fence is, and then it shoots straight over to the west property line.
Shoots over to just behind the trailer park, then it goes, that's. the
No,
line.
no,
So
no.
it goes
It comes
down
up
to
from
about the
there.
middle of the trailer park, and then the fence goes both north and south along the trailer park line.
All
And
right,
then on the south side of the trailer park, then it continues on to the west.
Is there gonna be a fence between, on the west side there, between Myers land and the county's land, going up to the city street?
It will stop at the north end of the trailer park.
So what happens, I assume you don't have any contractor meetings or anything scheduled during fair time. The people that have an issue or want to talk to the county highway department
Yeah,
will
so,
not have access then.
so at this time, there is no meeting set up, but you're right, there's usually people that will stop by, so that's where we need to
Oh,
decide.
you could pick out some ones you want to keep for
Yes.
your
so
own
we-
parking and
we would pick out-
designate the ones that are available.
Yeah, we'd want to put some signs up for.
Yep.
You could
County
take
district
off the
parking.
spot for your guys' parking and everybody stay out of there.
And you're still gonna allow the parking on the grass over on the east end side of the new shop.
Yeah, and that's fairgrounds,
Yep.
please, yep, they would still park over there like normal.
You know, we kind of let people park where the new shop sits now, but that can't happen.
But the people that come to see you or have business with the county will have to tell the people that do the charging for parking that
Yeah.
they don't have to pay.
That they're there for county
That
business.
would be the one.
What about the
Side
open house
effect if they
day?
put
That's-
that up.
That's different. That's not fair.
We're not gonna have it during the fair?
Well, that's
That's next
question
on the
number
agenda.
two.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I just wondering, okay, I just thought that's what it was, but maybe we won't have it then.
I mean, that's just a simple say, I'm here for county business. I gotta go meet whatever. I mean, I don't think. that's
I
really
would think
big.
they'd understand.
Yeah. But you're gonna have to move that up because you can't have it back.
Well, they could keep it down close where they had it before, and we could block off that first entrance. You know,
Could.
They could go down and
Come back.
turn back if we wanted to do that. We could
You
still
know,
get that
Figure out a
same-
way to do that, yeah.
We could cone it off where maybe, you cone off that entrance, highway department entrance only, and if any visitors, they can come in that way with cones and then park in a smaller area.
I guess I'd prefer that we split that. There's two driveways.
Yep.
Put the cones midpoint between the two driveways. This side is county. That side they can park on for the fair. and put the booth right there in line with those cones. That's just my opinion.
Would be pretty easy, because right over there, you can park from here.
I kind of go along with that position, and the positioning of the booth, I guess, is, you know,
Well, you do what you gotta do, Brian, to make it work, I guess. That's all we can do. I don't have a problem with people parking in there.
I guess.
Whatever you do.
Yeah, just so you don't get yourself jammed up and.
Yeah, we can maybe even have it where, yeah, we have cones with the booth up and then, can get to Friday afternoon or over the weekend and they can take those cones out and block it completely off and let them use all of it and.
And just so you have,
prior to that.
got a good way for you guys to
It
work.
was too much horsing around. I mean, whatever you want to do.
I'll kind of leave that up to you.
Okay, we will figure out what's
Good
going
or
to work for us. Okay. Second item then is we talked a couple weeks ago about the open house for the during that fair time. So I just want to make sure we pick a date and time and a time that we can have proper time for planning and make sure we don't have all of our staff decide to take vacation day that day. So I can tell them, you're gonna be here to help out that day. I know what happens as soon as they start thinking, yeah, we might have an open house during a week. They're all gonna want to be off the entire week just to avoid having to be around during open house time. So, so I know that the board talked about, doing an open house during fair time. Not sure if that's, I don't think that's a final decision at this point. I did kind of get the preliminary 2022 fair schedule, so it's not final yet, but Tuesdays, some judging of a few different things, all non-livestock exhibits must be in place by the end of the day on Tuesday. Wednesday has some more judging and not a whole lot going on other than the animal type activities. And then by Thursday at noon, all livestock must be in place. So at that point, pretty much everything is going to be in place at the fair. And then Thursday afternoon, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all gets busy. So I would say if you want to have the open house during fair time, Tuesday or Wednesday would be the best days. I think just for getting in and out, there's less traffic congestion issues at that time as well. That's if you want to do it during fair time. Those would be my recommendations if you want to do it prior to or outside of fair week. At this point, the plan was to pave our parking lot this week and then get all the fencing up in the next week or two. I don't think that's going to happen. I kind of told the contractor, in my own opinion, I'd rather have the roadways paved than our parking lot, just for priorities that impacts the public a lot more than paving our parking lot. So they might do our parking lot if they have time between switching between roadways. If the weather doesn't allow a full day of paving, maybe it makes sense to come and pave our parking lot, at least the first stuff down at that time. So I don't know what the exact schedule is, other than I anticipate that they're going to have all the paving done for both our roadways and our parking lot. Should all be done by the first week in July. And then that would allow the following week after that to get the fencing up. So we get to mid-July, I believe we'll have our project completed. Third week in July at the latest. So if you want to do outside of fair time, that late July or anytime in August would work.
I personally don't have a problem with fair time if it's on a Tuesday or Wednesday. Plus, that gives the asphalt surface a month to cure, because if we're gonna have people in there parking and this and that, when they sit in the spring areas, they're gonna have divots in the surface. The longer we let it cure, the better off it's gonna be as far as protecting that surface from scuffs and all that.
Why don't we have it
So
after
Wednesday, the 17th.
Wednesday?
So,
Yeah.
were you thinking all day or half a day?
I would prefer to limit it to like 3 hours. I mean, we can go longer, whatever you guys.
Well, the thing
decide,
is-
but I mean,
Well, why were you thinking 3 hours? I'm just curious.
Just overall have, some staff around to make sure that nothing walks off and to just kind of have a presence there. Let's not tie up our entire staff, and I'm not saying it's gonna be the entire staff, but, I could come through all day. We can definitely have longer if you want to have during normal business hours, anytime during that.
Well, it's gonna shoot the day anyway.
Well,
Why not do like from noon till 4 or 5 or something like
Ten
that?
until 3.
I was gonna say 2 to 5 gives you a chance to set up in the morning, get things ready, last minute things. 1 to 3, 4,
I was gonna say, if we're not, our staff usually works till 4:30 on Wednesdays, so if we can go till 4:30 instead of 5.
12:30 to 4:30 would be a good time.
Yep.
People on lunch break at a quick time that they can pop in.
I guess people
Just
who
the
are
afternoon.
day shift, they can come after work, night shift people can come in before. I mean, that covers it.
We said 12:30 to 4:30.
Mhm.
I've been asked about how we're gonna advertise this.
And that was
Next one.
the next question was gonna be is how do we get the word out? And we could put it on the county website. Do we want to put it in the paper?
Well,
Paper's got it already.
I think for sure paper and the website. Those are the two.
paper and a website.
Don't get into no radio thing or anything like that. Maybe TV, want to get TV up here? That's what Reddy did.
I'm gonna try to make it to one of the fair board meetings. And I could ask them if they would wanna slip that in, because they do radio spots too, but I'll just find out. Slip that in.
Wednesday the 17th. 12:30 to 4:30.
I'll change my.
And there's nothing that says that if I, as a board member, want to be there,
Oh, absolutely.
This is not an official
it's not an
meeting,
official meeting.
so all of us could be there.
Yep.
This is an open house, and I think we should try to be there
Yep.
at some time during the day, during the afternoon.
We can each have a room, so we're not together.
Well, I mean,
That's
it's
good.
not,
It's not a
an-
meeting, so I ain't worried
there's
about
no business being discussed.
Talk about the weather and the crops. That's it.
Are we going to provide refreshments? We want to
That was
get
already
into
in
that.
my mind here just a second ago too. That was.
that. Really gotta have coffee and rolls.
Some of
don't
the,
ya?
No.
some of the planning stuff, we have 2 months to figure out what we.
This is
wanna-
12:30 till 4:30. Lunchtime is over. They've already eaten lunch. I don't think we should be doing anything as far as pop or juice or cookies or rolls. One, it's a mess. You don't know how many people you're gonna have, so you either don't have enough or you're gonna waste something. Just open house. Come and view the facility. That's my opinion. Apparently nobody agrees.
No, that's fine. I was just asking. I just asked a question. I don't have opinion one way or the other.
Well, you could just get some water to have available. That's not perishable. The rolls will wear out, coffee gets thrown away, but water you can always use.
That's right.
So something like that.
They did have, when they had the open house at the Justice Center. they did have cookies.
Then you gotta set up tables and,
There gets to be.
We'll leave that up to you, Brian. If you wanna have.
Well,
coffee,
People
you-
who come for the cookies are gonna be disappointed. I'm just kidding.
When you say open house and it's.
yep, where people are thinking, okay, coffee and donuts or something like that.
No, but
Milk or water and cookies, that's enough.
Maybe we can work with the ADA, the dairy people. Maybe they can
Mm.
provide that ice cream machine or something.
people can.
I
just
got
go
ice
get
cream
beer
spill
and
all
get their
over
own
the
snack.
Well, that'll cost us about $1,000 because everybody comes for them. A dollar a month.
Or we could have the cattlemen's and cook them some burgers. or-
Yeah, we could do that.
I'm just,
Oh,
no.
things are getting
Oh, we're getting deep.
Well, we can further discuss that.
I think cookies and milk and water would be plenty. They don't have a problem.
I mean, you're not
making
gonna,
wine
you're not
anyway,
gonna
do
have the equipment in the shop, right? I mean, you're gonna have, are you still gonna have, I suppose you can still have, keep the trucks in there and,
Yeah, we keep our trucks in and.
That's
if
fine.
We can have someone buy, if they're, anyone that wants to, hop up into one of our trucks, we can let them actually sit in a
yeah,
plow truck while they're out there. I know that's usually a big hit with the.
Kids love
younger
that.
kids.
Come and draw for the kids.
we can make this good, good PR.
Water and cookies, coffee if you want.
Bob, I think you should just do it.
Well, we can discuss that further.
We got plenty of time.
That's good. Well, having a date and time set is a good.
Good start.
Start.
Yep.
Just
Well, I
put
got one
cookies
other problem
question
for you
mark
while
in
you're
there.
here. My buddy Elmer's got all clay and mud on top of all his lawn and sidewalk right up to his house down there. From the rain yesterday.
Busy. I was gonna look to see if anything,
It's bad.
okay. I will, go and address that right away here.
All right, he called me at 7:30 this morning, chewed my ass pretty good, so.
There was,
I think he should be grateful for what he's gotten so far.
I will, yeah, take a picture, get a hold of our contractor and stuff. I talked to our contractor on Monday, said we don't want to have just empty bare topsoil sitting there for months because we get a big rain, we're gonna have issues.
Yeah, I mean, we gotta put a curb up there of some sort, or so that the water can't get down in there. And I don't know if you gotta talk to the city to bring it up farther. I don't know what you gotta do. Right now, it just runs right down in there, in that little pocket.
Take a look at it.
He's already got pictures and they're waiting for you.
Okay,
I told him I'd send you down there right after the meeting.
our contractor will know before I even make it back to the office, so hopefully get someone up there right away.
Sounds good.
Okay,
Thank you, Brian.
Oh, and Kurt Whiskey said he had water coming in his shed from the other side of the fairgrounds over there on the east side. Said he's talked to you guys before about it, and he's had Bubba who was up there and did some surveying to see where the water could run. He
water off the
said,
fairgrounds, it's going that way.
yeah, he said about a half an hour to an hour with the blade would take care of the whole problem. So I don't know where the water's running right now, but it's going down through his shed.
Is that because of something that we're causing? I don't think it's anything that
I don't know
we're
what,
causing that way.
I don't know what the cause is, where it's coming from or what the cause is. I was just told about it. If you want to look at that, you can.
I don't see where that water could be coming up.
I don't know where it's
Off the
coming. I don't
roof.
know.
Off the roof of
the
them
milking
sheds.
barn Up there, maybe? Would
Yeah,
that be
I
the
think it's
only
back
ones
side of
where that
those
water come from?
Fair barns.
Backside of the new fair barn and the new and the old one.
Does the ground level there, the field on that east side, drain into his direction?
Well, he said they put a lot of fill
Yeah,
in there for
the-
that track, and then that raised that side.
That last building on the very far east side of the fairgrounds drains his way, and I believe it goes off and north to County 3.
Yeah,
So
he
it
said
does
he-
go down in that direction.
He said it wasn't too bad, and then they must have put some fill in for the pulling track or something, the tractor track. And then now he said the water's pushing back towards him again. So he said it wasn't too bad for a while, but now it's getting worse again. But I think all that new water from the new building comes down there, around there.
I thought that water, that
That goes
building's
down to
always being-
Schulte's.
I thought that was split 50/50 or
No,
something.
new fair building, not the shop.
Yeah, everything on our site
Fair building
goes to
on top of
the
the opening.
That's not Schulte's that way. is it?
The south property
That's
line
what-
of the fairgrounds and us is Schulte's building. Right?
On the
Yeah.
south end.
Yeah,
north
on
end,
the south.
yeah, South end would be Schulte's.
Okay, I guess, all right.
You wanna Take a look at that, Brian. Talk to Elmer, that way he won't be calling me.
Do that.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Board updates. Yesterday, I had a audit meeting with Carol and Donna, a couple other ladies. And from what the auditors told me, everything looking really good. Our ladies are doing a bang up job. There's no problems with any of the ARPA funds so far or anything like that. And the only thing that might be changing would be our leasing program, how they, I know Carol can maybe talk a little bit about that. They didn't have much information on that, did they?
It's actually a GASB pronouncement, which deals with how you report things and it seems like a bunch of accountants thinking of ways to make it work more. Which is a lot of their reporting. But it's effective beginning for the 2023 reporting year. So we'll just be gathering information on all of our leases, and it's not just leases for like equipment, it's leases that we collect. But they also stress in the training that I have gone to that it has to be material. So our $1,800 or whatever it is that we get for our airport cropland, that's not material in comparison to our operation. So we'll just have to sort through and see what, we actually have to report.
Anything else I missed?
We just, we're working on the audit stuff to get to them. The main auditor right now, Carla, will be retiring at the end of July. So it sounds to me like Gary will become the primary. Dylan has been here a few years, and then there'll be staff to supplement so that we get our audit done on time.
We have that meeting tonight at 6 o'clock here, and solid waste meeting tomorrow over in La Crosse. Taking Teresa's spot on that one. So, I guess that's about all I got.
Yeah, Board of Adjustment meeting tonight at 6 o'clock.
He said that.
That's right here, right?
Yep.
6 o'clock there. Okay. Did I miss anything, Carol? Okay, then I guess that's all I got.
We did receive our second tranche of the ARPA funds.
Same amount that they said it was gonna be? Same amount they said it was gonna be?
Yes.
Okay, well, then I guess we'll go to Bob next.
I don't have a great deal to report. Dewey and I had our community services meeting this morning with the report from our veteran service officer and John. I guess I'll let Dewey.
You can talk about it. I got quite a bit of stuff.
I mean, their van, their Enterprise has got a 21 or a 20 van that, a 21 or 22 van that's new that we could get for the new van instead of waiting for a 23 because that'd take a lot longer. So he's working on getting that put together. Otherwise, things are going fairly well on that.
Oh, we already signed an agreement for that.
Okay, so that's coming. They just got to get a transition.
With Enterprise?
John talked at length with regard to, the public health. Mary Thompson working with us for a 67-day employee along with Fillmore County Health. That's working well to keep us up to date until we get new hires taking place. Employee replacement, like all other counties, is a difficulty to get enough people. We do have some that they've gotten some new employees. In fact, we approved one today. Opioid settlement, just like every other county, was kind of waiting to see what we can and cannot do with it. And maybe there'll be a collaborative with some other counties to be more effective. The ARPA projects, he still supports the space study and using the ARPA for, renovating for efficiencies. So that's some of that. We'll have a negotiation meeting with Selco on July the 7th. That's coming up. So I'll talk to Teresa about that when she gets back. And then the only other thing, the AMC meeting that I went to the other day, I think I mentioned it. We're the host
host county for the fall one in October. That's October the 31st, Halloween. I've got it lined up. We can get the facility and the Crescent behind the Best Western Hotel, the community
Events
event center. And they do provide the coffee and the donuts, and the Spring Bridge will provide the lunch. I haven't got caught up as far as the cost and whatnot. And I don't know if like the people from AMC are going to stay at the hotel or whatnot, so we could book a set of rooms. The hotel gives a pretty good discount if you book like 4 or 6 rooms. It's a pretty good discount on that. So I'll talk to the AMC people and get that squared away. It's a long ways out, but just so you know, we're getting squared away.
You got it reserved anyway.
It'll become fast though.
That's all I got.
All right, Eric.
Had a land use committee meeting this morning. Carol brought up the fact that the tax statements go back to 2002 on the AS 400, is that right? Yep,
The tax file.
tax files, not statements, but anyway, that's a long time. It's not required to have to go back that far. So when we go to the new system, we're not gonna download all that, maybe go back a compromise of 10 years or less. Donna's getting ready for election training, starting on the 27th of May. Poll pad trainings on the 21st of July. Brian brought us up to date on the highways being repaved 1 and 4, and that's coming along as scheduled, so.
Actually, Eric, the trainings, the first one is the 20th of June, and the next one is the 27th. We have 2
Okay.
weeks in a row. Yep. I just wanted to clarify that in case somebody comes or wants to
Oh.
come. The 20th is the head judge training for head judges, and the 27th is the election judge training for just all the election judges.
It's not May, it's June.
June.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anyway, that's all I got.
Okay, well, I was at a WinLAC meeting yesterday and by Zoom and got cut off midway through the storm. But it was interesting, one comment that came from the PCA lady up there says that Minnesota has the largest surface of water in the country. I know got 10,000 lakes, but that was, she threw that curve at me. I said, wow, that's neat. But anyway, the main crux of the program was talking about erosion. They're working on an area up in western Winona County right now. I asked about the trees and the
Stream bank.
stream banks and stuff, and they said, well, when they do their analysis, which they go around to every creek in their area, they do take note of that, and there are benefits at times for trees to be in there, but what caused the tree to go in there? Was it erosion or was it just falling over? So what they do is they coordinate with DNR on the stuff in the creek beds. They did show, and it was hit me because it was in our area up there, Pine Creek, which a lot of you know where New Hartford is. Between New Hartford and County 6, the sedimentation changed from 36 milligrams per liter to 2,300 milligrams per liter. And I'm going to estimate it's about a 5-mile stretch.
Wow.
But they didn't say what time of the year. It was just after plowing and got a lot of whatever, but they were showing differences, and that's what they do. And they work with DNR on things like vegetation and things falling into the water. Went to emergency communication board meeting in Rochester during the torrential rain, but it was a mess. Anyway, not too much to report from there. They went through their audit. Everything looks good on that level. They're waiting for the legislature to finalize a lot of stuff to determine what they're going to do. Lastly, La Crescent Bridge project, the bicycle bridge project that we've been talking about. the bridge structure isn't gonna show up until the end of July. They don't have an exact date yet, but they were saying how it's gonna come in 3 pieces, 3 semi-loads. And then it's gonna take them 3 days to bolt it together, and then they're gonna lift it on to the concrete. Right now, their main thing is taking off the supports and all the stuff and getting it prepared, but the west side of 6114 is actually extension of South First is gonna get paved here soon. It was redug out, everything underneath it and narrowed, which it makes it more difficult to get into there, but that's their purpose, I guess. But anyway, that's gonna get done, but July is kind of the forecasted date of finalizing it.
So just out of curiosity, with the bridge coming in 3 pieces and they're gonna bolt it together before they hoist it up.
Yep.
Is that like down by that used car lot? I mean, what,
They're gonna block off for that period from Tuesday until they say Thursday night is their plan. They're gonna block off the shoulder of northbound 61 and block off the right lane of northbound 61.
so they'll do it right there.
They're gonna structure it right beside the base of the bridge. And so it'll be 1 lane traffic, and then they're gonna detour traffic. The actual lift is during the night, 11 o'clock at night, they're gonna start lifting into place. That's,
Detour that up onto Walnut Street down and around.
they're gonna send them down on the Chestnut, down by the
Oh.
old Commodore.
It's the old Commodore, every busy road down through there.
You know, that time of night, hopefully it ain't too wild, but yeah.
There'll be a lot of spectators.
Between 11 at night and 5 in the morning is the plan. So that's the most interesting thing that I came up with.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
So that's all I got.
All right. How about closing public comment? We got anybody? Well, I don't see anybody. Somebody want to make a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
One second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, I guess we're adjourned.
Thank you, everybody. Teresa's back next week.
Should be.
She comes back the 20th.